cherished listeners, and all our faithful NDC sympathizers. In fact, sanitation over the years has been a very huge challenge, and has been taking a lot of poor taxpayers' money. And as a committee, in the past, sanitation committee used to be under environment and science ministry. So it was during the later part of last parliament when we had the new standing orders. And you also remember that under the Akufo-Addo government, there was a separate ministry for sanitation and water resources. So in the standing orders, a separate committee was created. So I was made the chairman. That was the tail end of the last parliament. So because of the election, we weren't able to hit the ground running. So this time around, some of us, I believe in going to the route and very practical to ensure that the right things are done. So we decided to hit the ground running. And in fact, Senna, we've unraveled a lot of issues. A lot of issues. That is why all these issues have started coming out. And wherever we went to, we went with the media. Almost all the media houses. It was only Radio Gold I wasn't able to at least set eyes on. So, Senna, the issue is that successive governments have signed a contract with Yea-Zoomlion in Accra and sent the contract down to the implementers, that is the MMDAs, to implement. And so now the issue is that how can you sit in Accra, award a contract to a service provider to provide services down there at the MMDAs when the technical people who are the implementers at the local assembly are not involved, are not consulted, their input were not sought. So we felt that was wrong as a committee, because who are the implementers at the local assembly? These are environmental health officers. They are the ones at the local assemblies to oversee the supervision and monitoring and to ensure that the service provider performs. And now here lies the case. The complaint we got was that the environmental health officers at the various MMDAs are not equipped. Their means of mobility is zero. They are not given budgetary allocation. So how do you award a contract to a service provider with this huge amount of money without supervision and monitoring? Who certified their performance as what work is done before the service provider is paid? So we thought that as a committee, it was very unfortunate and bad and ought to be reviewed. So we brought out the issues. Then one other challenge we've discovered or unraveled is that there's a sanitation model under Youth Employment Authority. They recruit and post our young people to the various MMDAs to help in sanitation issues. The complaints we got from the assemblies were that none of these guys, almost virtually all of them, have stopped working because the service provider is unable to pay them for over 8 months, some 12 months, and what have you. So these are the issues that brought about the contract and the fraud in the contract, according to Manasseh Azuri. So, if you ask me, that wouldn't be able to take a few minutes to bring out this issue and discuss this. There are a whole lot of issues surrounding this contract and performance at the MMDAs.
Interesting, because you're saying there are two different legs to this matter. One, yes, the contract that the MM is entered at what level? Because you said that it is entered at the national level on behalf of the MMDAs. Who exactly signs those contracts?
I think it is between the Ministry of Finance and a local government ministry. The two ministries did the signing. And the MMDs were only there, the contract was brought to them to sign as witnesses. And whether they sign or not, the contract was already binding. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Yes.
So they only sign as witnesses? Witnesses.
Even if they didn't sign, the contract was binding. And the MPP government renewed the contract, renewed the the other aspect of the contract on November 24th, 2024, last year, virtually few days to election, the contract was renewed.
November 2024.
Yes, 24th November 2024.
Okay.
They renewed the contract 5 years. For 5 years. That is for Zoomlion to provide containers, advantage points, you understand? And in the marketplaces at the various MMDAs. Then lift the containers when they are full.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that's for 5 years.
The other aspect that has to do with the YEA is what is currently pending. That one has not been renewed yet.
Yes.
But the main one was renewed by the NPP government.
So you're saying that this current government has inherited a refuse collection contract signed by the NPP government that would even outlive the tenure of the government. Exactly so. Oh, quite interesting. So that one, is it that? So let me start with that one. Are you still looking at the contracts? Have you reached any conclusions as to what government should do as a committee? Do you have any views on what should happen to that contract?
Well, we are yet to conclude on our monitoring visits in some MMDAs. We've targeted to cover some MMDAs across the country. But looking at the way things are going, we want to end at a point and present our report to Parliament. No, Parliament is reconvening on the 13th of May. So we want to quickly wind up and present a report on phase 1 of our rounds. Then Parliament will take a decision.
Because you're being reported to have said, so we'll come to that other contract. So on this one, you are yet to meet as a committee and agree on what your position should be and present a report to the Speaker.
Yes, exactly. Because we'll be meeting with, we are sending an invitation to Basantane, that is the YEA chief executive and his technical directors, to meet the committee, to appear before the committee on the 13th of May. That is the day Parliament is resuming. So that we'll look into the issues of YEA contract with Zoomlion and the lapses on the ground and the way forward. So that we'll include that in our report.
Now, we are now discussing the sanitation module that you talk about, the monies that are paid to them. You said, first of all, that they are owed up to 8 months?
Yes, 8 months, even some more.
Some even more?
Yes.
And what explanation did Mr. Siam Japan offer you when you raised this with him?
Well, according to him, that he is not supposed to pay the 250, that the 250 Ghana cedis allowance, he's not even saying his salary, that they work for only 3 hours a day, that it is allowances, and that is determined by government, according to the contract. That the 600 or 650 that comes to him, it is for management. He manages the YEA employees at the MMDA. He provides them with their PPEs and many other things. That is his cost. But the 250 is paid by government. Government determines that. So the public is not aware. So they are blaming him for non-payment of a YEA worker. But it is not his responsibility as far as the contract is concerned.
So he's saying he does not set
we want to get a copy of the contract as a committee and look into it so that we include that in our report.
Oh, so he's saying he does not set the allowances. It is the YEA that set those allowances.
Yes, according to him.
Okay. So we should not blame him at all for it.
That is what he's trying to say.
Okay. You said you are not trying to get your hands on a contract. You haven't gotten it yet.
Exactly. So we'll get a contract this week.
Is it refreshing for you that Malik Basintale says he will not agree to anything that does not pay the workers at least minimum wage?
Very much so. That was my complaint. I am even proposing at least it should not be allowance. How can you be given an